We have many activities going on, but what I personally feel the most important is the education of our young children.
After involvement with the program, the children also remind the parent, oh, today's Sunday, we go to the church. So the children had to be lit up the faith. And then when the children said that, they couldn't say no, you see. And then our church was happy to see one another with a good faith.
I think the parishioners realize that the young people are the future of our church. Sometimes our children act as ministers of hospitality, and I think that strengthens the parish too, because these children are going to take over eventually as the adults in the parish.
The old people, they see the new people are participate, so they feel younger until their faith still there. And the young people to follow the old one for their faith strong.
I'm in charge of RCRA programs about more than 10 years. This year we have 30-something. Once they get baptized, they invite their friends and family members to come to the church. St. John Vianney is a warm place, and we welcome everybody to come to our parish. It's just a home for them.
The children are very, very important to us here, and we try to get them and their families to be part of the parish as one.
They're here, they're involved, they're part of our community, and it allows the grace and the compassion of God to grow in them. It's just beautiful to see. We're not a school community and a parish community. We're one community.
I've seen the religious education program grow exponentially over the last few years. We've done so much more for the children. Parents are key to the program. Because of the pandemic, parents realized that it's a partnership. But we want their children to be involved in the parish, just as we'd like them to be involved in the parish.
CCD is just not a class on Wednesday. It's part of their family and part of the community. It's a commitment. You have to be dedicated, and you really feel like a sense of community.
It's very heartwarming. We all learn, no matter what age we are. There's still so much to be learned.
My mother and father, it was very important for us to be at church. I feel like it's very important for my children to have the same and to live the life that, God wants us to live. And once they see like the other children that are here, they realize like, ooh, this may be a good place to be.
It's not just classroom settings. I love doing arts and crafts with my kids. We sing a lot, we play games a lot, and I think they learn a lot by doing that.
We try to give them opportunities to do works of mercy. We had the program of Soul, where we were raising money, over $4,000, to refurbish sneakers for homeless children in New York City.
The Soul organization makes me feel good to help others in need, because we are all important in God's eyes, and it is important to help people that can't help themselves.
Especially with the catechists here and the people who run the program, we're personally invested in our community, and I get the privilege of seeing children from the time they're baptized to the time they make their confirmation.
Making my confirmation means that it's not just like our parents are doing it for us. We actually want to take the step forward to commit to the Mass.
Having your children in a program like ours, it enables them to make their own choices, to understand things, to ask questions that maybe their soul really needs answered. As far as an adult wanting to volunteer their time, there's no greater gift that you could give your community, to your parish.
If you want a place where you just want to drop your child off on a Wednesday, we may not be the parish for you, but if you want to come to a place that's a second home and a greater family for you and your family, then St. Bernard's is the place to be.
These children are the future of the church. Like the little seeds, that will at their due time produce fruits of renewed membership for the parish. Our faith formation programs are tremendously abundant. We decided to run it online. Approximately 1,400 students registered. The kids and their families have made a great effort to follow the classes. The catechists have made a great effort to learn how to use these technologies. I am visiting the classes with the other priests to keep in touch with the kids, and it's amazing, which to me is also an indication of how seriously our parishioners are taking this duty.
Excellent. I have to be honest, what I love about this clip is the catechist teacher who said, I do arts and crafts, I like to sing with them, we do. It's a message that our two departments have been putting out all year, which is put the book down, witness to the faith, be creative. And that creative energy was just all over this video. So it was really great to see that.
I love Joseph Jude Gannon. You see how he did that? I'm interested in your child's education. I'm interested in what your child is learning all over. That was a great segue into getting people to talk about what their kids are learning. And he was great. And he's doing an amazing job. Amazing job.
One of the things, too, if I can give a nod to John Notaro and again the foundation, through the Youth Ministry Initiative, that has helped our programs grow by seeing the youth ministers as a really important part of the educational process. So the number of junior high programs that have been started because of the initiative. And when people ask me, why should I give to the Annual Catholic Appeal? For no other reason than the Angel Program, Youth Ministry Initiative, what we've done for the grants through Elizabeth Ann Seton for catechetical leaders. It's the next generation.
And even the chaplains in our schools, the high schools. And, one of the things that, came out in that the video, too, that you said about, Catholic education, is that it takes the whole parish, to form a child. It takes a village. And you see that. And one of the things at St. Bernard's, it's close to my heart, the youth minister is a teacher in the school. So you have that further connection so that when they graduate to school, they still have a friendly face around. And she invites them to the youth ministry for high school, and it keeps that connection. So they all work together. And that's so important as a team.
I find even with our youth minister, Kenny W., he goes into the school, teaches in the school regularly, invites the kids to participate in the youth ministry programs. So it's a great connection between the school, between the parish academy, between the religious education program. He does it in all of them, and they bring the young people together. And the key to all this is getting kids together and hoping they grow together in the faith.
And that's one of the things that, the Catholic Foundation has really, put out there is the youth ministry. And I have to put this plug in. I want to thank all the donors that gave to Generations of Faith, that so much of the money that was collected went towards youth ministry. So I want to thank you.
You will never realize how much help that whole youth ministry initiative in the Generations of Faith has put youth ministers into almost every parish in the diocese, or collaborating between a couple of parishes. That initiative has been a tremendous blessing. Tremendous blessing.
One of the other things that came out in these segments was the word generation. There were generations of families that have been involved in many of our parishes. And now we see yet another generation being put forward. So Generations of Faith really did highlight that notion of giving back the gift that we have been given. And in the work of the religious, the number of religious we've seen, Deacon Chris Wagner was in the St. Bernard clip. The deacons, the religious, the clergy are all working together now in an extraordinary way to make another generation of faith possible.
One of the things that you had said, though, is the common theme in all of this we saw is the next generation. Okay, the multicultural generations, all the families that are represented here in the Diocese of Brooklyn. and how those generations are being prepared for the future. And it's all because of what's happening in our parishes, what's happening in our Catholic academies, and religious education.
And that's one of the things that we try to get out there to our donors. We need their support for the next generation. That the church was there for them when they came here, when their parents came and they had nothing. The church was there to educate them, to form them. And now we have a responsibility. They have a responsibility for the next generation to plant those seeds for them, just like they were planted for those who were before them.
And I think the seeds we saw in the last video with St. Bernard's, if you want to experience something, come to St. If you don't want to experience, you don't want to grow, you don't want to develop,
Go somewhere else.
And I thought it was very...
It's not a quick fix.
It's not a quick fix.
Yeah.
It's going to take time. And I think when we look at the whole course of events this evening, it takes time, nurtured, and developed.
Correct. And I'd just like to put out a quick shout out. You know, we talk about the next generation being supported by the generosity and the gifts of, you know, people who have become very successful. But I want to put a word out to the religious, because they were the support. They taught so many of the religious orders. They sacrificed so much and gave that education. Now we don't have as many as we did then, so we rely on the finances of the next generation. But they really educated so many people in our schools and in our dioceses for generations, and we got to thank them for that.
Yeah, and I think it's important, you know, how do we keep the charism of the Dominican sisters, the Sisters of St. Joseph, you know, all the communities, the Franciscan brothers. And, you know, when you walk into a school for religious ed or for Christ is the reason that we are here. And that's, as you said, Monsignor, the generations that have gone before us, but they're the
They gave
reason.
their lives to Catholic education.
And that's the reason we're here.
Just a couple of concluding thoughts. First, I owe my vocation to the priesthood, to the nuns. Secondly, we have a program that's modeling. You want to model, this should be copied throughout the country in every diocese. And thirdly, the value of our sacramental programs. We need to push the sacramental programs because there's a lot of children that need to still receive communion, confirmation, and all that. And we need to get out there with our sacramental programs very, very much in all the parishes.
You know, Dr. Tom hears me say all the time, we can't look to the future through the rear view mirror. The past is the past. We move forward. So eyes fixed forward with our sacramental programs, with our academies, with our catechetical leadership. It's moving forward, not through the rear view mirror.
And that's all of us setting goals, you know, for the future. Because those goals are attainable, and we have a lot to prove.
And I think we're doing it. Thank you.